Ibrahim Traore stood in the first-class line at Sanford International Airport, dressed simply in a plaid shirt, worn jeans, and scuffed boots, a stark contrast to the luxury around him. A man watched him with disdain, his arrogance clear. What happened next left everyone on the plane speechless and changed one life forever. The Sanford International Airport buzzed with activity. People rushing, conversations blending, luggage rolling. In the first-class line, Ibrahim Traore stood calmly, carrying a well-traveled backpack. Nothing about him was flashy, yet his tranquility set him apart. While others seemed hurried, he observed the chaos as if savoring the moment, unaffected by the glances or the contrast with wealthier passengers. Behind him was Elliot Baxter, the opposite of Ibrahim. Dressed in a pricey suit, polished shoes, and strong cologne, every move was calculated to scream importance. His eyes scanned the line, landing on Ibrahim with a smirk. "First class, huh?" Elliot said, voice dripping with sarcasm. "You never know who'll show up here these days." Ibrahim turned, his expression calm. "Yeah, the world's full of surprises." Elliot frowned, expecting more reaction, but pushed further. "No offense, but you don't look like the first-class type," he said, chuckling. "It's rare to see someone so casual up here." As boarding began, Ibrahim and Elliot moved forward silently. Elliot strutted confidently, while Ibrahim walked at his steady pace. Inside the plane, Elliot checked his ticket, then froze. Ibrahim was settling into the seat next to his. "You've got to be kidding," Elliot muttered, shaking his head. He sat, chuckling as if it were a joke. "Of all places, it's here." Ibrahim smiled slightly. "Looks like we're traveling together." Elliot crossed his arms, uneasy. It wasn't just sitting next to Ibrahim, it was that the man he judged was sharing his exclusive space. His presence unsettled Elliot in a way he couldn't pinpoint. As economy passengers boarded, Elliot started a conversation, but not kindly. "So, what do you do?" he asked, assuming he knew the answer. Ibrahim, adjusting his backpack, looked up. "I work in film." Elliot raised an eyebrow, smirking. "Oh, commercials? Small-time stuff?" Ibrahim smiled faintly. "Something like that." Elliot laughed. "Some spaces aren't meant for everyone, like first class." Ibrahim stayed calm. "I think we all have our place. Sometimes it's right where we are." Elliot scoffed. "That's cute, philosophical even, but real life isn't that simple." Ibrahim looked at him briefly, his gaze patient yet firm, then turned to the window. Elliot pushed on. "You might be here, but some places don't belong to certain people." Ibrahim's silent, steady look said more than words, and Elliot leaned back, thinking he'd won. He didn't know things were just beginning. In-flight service started, and Elliot made a show of ordering champagne, something that matches this seat's exclusivity. Ibrahim requested water. Elliot pounced. "Water? You're wasting first class on water." Ibrahim took the bottle calmly. "I'm good with this. Sometimes simple's enough." Elliot sneered. "Guess that works for folks who settle for less. Not everyone's cut out for the best." Ibrahim sipped his water. "Maybe the best is different for everyone." Elliot bristled. "Or maybe people who say that never had access to what matters. Some things are out of reach for certain folks." The flight attendant glanced over, noting Ibrahim's calm handling of Elliot's jabs. Ibrahim smiled faintly and looked out the window. Elliot wanted a reaction but was realizing Ibrahim was tough to rattle. Passengers began noticing Elliot's tone, but Ibrahim's composure kept things from escalating. Elliot pressed on. "Life's like first class," he said, gesturing with his glass. "You earn your spot and enjoy it. Some people are just here by luck." Ibrahim turned, his gaze sharper. "Luck or hard work, we all land in the same place, don't we?" The cabin grew quiet, passengers tuning in. Elliot forced a smile. "Some of us are on a higher level. Not everyone gets the value of being here." Ibrahim leaned forward. "The value isn't in the seat. It's in how you treat others." His words hung heavy. Some passengers nodded. Others glanced at Elliot disapprovingly. Elliot laughed nervously. First-class self-help? Maybe try motivational speaking. Ibrahim smiled and turned away, ending the exchange. His calm spoke louder than words. Passengers whispered, some recognizing Ibrahim but respecting his privacy. Elliot's confidence waned as he noticed the shift in attention. He tried again. It's funny, people with nothing always preach humility. Ever notice? Ibrahim met his eyes. I've noticed folks who brag the most often feel the emptiest inside. Elliot froze, stunned. Passengers exchanged impressed looks. Elliot stammered, the world's competitive. If you don't show what you've got, you're ignored. Ibrahim leaned back. True success doesn't need shouting. It speaks for itself. The cabin felt his words' weight. An older man nearby shook his head at Elliot's behavior. Elliot snapped. Cheap philosophy sounds nice, but the real world doesn't work that way. Ibrahim stayed calm. The real world's made by people, Elliot. How we treat others says more than anything else. Elliot squirmed, noticing passengers' disapproval. He was losing control. The tension grew. Ibrahim broke the silence. I get what you're saying, Elliot. The world's competitive. But the need to prove yourself often comes from insecurity, an inner struggle. Elliot laughed it off. Inner struggle? You're way off.
Ibrahim simillet faintly.
I've met people who thought success was what others saw. Deep down, they were chasing something missing inside. Elliot fidgeted with his wedding ring, struck but defensive. That's not me. I earned everything, and I don't need your advice. Ibrahim paused, choosing his words. I'm not saying you didn't work hard, but we get so caught up showing off we forget to look inward. Who are we without all this? Elliot scoffed. We're what we build. Without it, we're nothing. Ibrahim's gaze turned serious. I disagree. We're defined by what we do for others, not what we pile up. In the end, what we show matters less than what's in here. He tapped his chest. Passengers nodded, and Elliot struggled to stay composed. That's easy to say. He shot back, voice rising. You don't know me or what I've been through.
Ibrahim stayed seated.
You're right, I don't. But I don't need your story to see that shouting about success often hides fear, insecurity, loneliness. Elliot froze, face flushing with anger and shame. He stood abruptly, knocking his glass to the floor. You think you're better than me? He shouted, drawing every eye. Sitting there with your clever phrases. Acting like you know life? You don't know the real world. The cabin fell silent. The flight attendant approached, but Ibrahim stayed calm, waiting. I don't think I'm better, he said firmly yet gently. I just think we need to focus on what matters. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, Elliot. The words hit hard. Elliot sat, breathing heavily, looking defeated. He avoided Ibrahim's gaze, his outburst exposing his vulnerability. The flight grew quiet. Elliot sat, shaken, while Ibrahim stayed relaxed. The flight attendant approached Ibrahim. Mr. Traore, the captain says your Brighton connection is confirmed and sends his regards. The name Traore rippled through first class. Passengers' eyes widened, murmuring. Elliot froze. Traore, he whispered. Ibrahim Traore? Ibrahim nodded politely to the attendant, ignoring the buzz. He turned to Elliot, pale as a ghost. Something wrong? He asked with a slight smile. Elliot stammered. I had no idea. You didn't say who you were. Ibrahim's tone was calm but firm. I didn't think I needed to. I don't flash my name like a badge. Elliot sank lower, mumbling, I didn't know. I didn't mean to offend. Ibrahim leaned forward. What you said doesn't change because you know my name, Elliot. Truth isn't about who you're talking to. It's about how you treat people. Elliot was speechless, humiliation clear. Passengers watched, some with disapproval. Ibrahim added, Life's tough enough. We don't need to put others down to feel big. Elliot nodded faintly, reflecting for the first time. Ibrahim leaned back, ending the exchange. The rest of the flight was heavy. Elliot, once so bold, now avoided eye contact, his arrogance replaced by shame. Ibrahim's words echoed, making him question his judgments. He glanced at Ibrahim, calmly reading, and felt the weight of his actions. Ibrahim hadn't needed to prove himself, his character spoke louder. As the plane prepared to land, Elliot found courage. "I need to apologize," he said, eyes down. "Not just because you're you, but because I was a jerk. I acted stupid." Ibrahim looked at him, serene. "I appreciate that, but I hope you learn from it." He paused. "Sometimes what we seek most in the world is what we lack inside. I hope you find what matters, Elliot." Elliot nodded, the words sinking in. A chance to change if he chose. After landing, Elliot stood in the Brighton terminal, watching Ibrahim walk away. Fans approached Ibrahim for photos, and he greeted each with genuine kindness. No rush or ego. Elliot sighed, looking at his hands. He knew he needed to change. Ibrahim's words lingered. A reminder that true worth isn't status but how you treat others. The encounter wasn't random. It was a wake-up call. Elliot felt hope, a chance to start fresh. Ibrahim vanished into the crowd, leaving a lesson. Real success isn't what you show but the impact you have. Elliot walked away, determined to live differently, knowing respect and humility never go out of style. The change he wanted in the world had to start with him.